love poetry. I was always a reader, and there were a lot of my friends and what have you who would perform with me, do what's now called spoken word. And they would tell me things like, I don't like poetry, I don't read poetry. You know, they wouldn't study their craft. And it was really disturbing for me, and I realized what they really were very bad MCs. They wanted to be MCs, and they couldn't make it in that, so this was the next best thing. So, you know, in terms of the discipline, the first thing is that any great writer ought to be a great reader. And you ought not be afraid to read the breadth and landscape of work that's out there. We all go through our moments. You know, when I got to college when I was 15, and I'd only ever read things by white people, and I'd only know, you know, and I found out there was something called a slave narrative. I was like, I hate Shakespeare, you know what I mean? But you know, as you get older and you come full circle, you realize that you can embrace a breadth of voices and visions without subjugating your own voice. So I encourage people to be great readers and to enjoy the broad palette that is literature in the world. The other thing is that, as you were stating before, people are afraid of being edited. I have many people who come to me and they don't want to change a word. That's fine for your journal. If you're going to put it out there and ask people to pay for it, then you better get with a good editor. There's nothing I've done well without a good editor's firm hand saying, you know, this book took 3 turns to write. Every time, the first time I was so mad, still in that you know, and I turned it in, and my editor, bless her heart, we've done 3 books together, she said, I could see you worked hard. That was it. Take it back, baby. Back to the drawing board. I look at my daughter writing a 1-page essay and getting mad when I make her revise. I said, try getting 320 pages back, boo. It's a whole different thing. So you have to be humble enough when you do this, and you've got to keep coming back to the page. Where I find a lot of people don't finish telling their stories is because they don't come back to the page. But you know, overall, is that there are no rules. Everybody writes differently, right? Everybody has different times. I write on a little laptop in the corner of my bed. I've written 5 books that way, countless articles. That's just how I do. It's my quiet space. I can't write in an office. I probably can't write in a library. When I see people in coffee, I can't do that. I need my space on that corner of that bed, in that room, and that's just the way it's going down. So I think, you know, you have to find your own discipline, but be sure you must have a discipline as with anything else. Like running a marathon, you're not going to get up and run 26.5 miles or 26.2 miles in one day. You've got to train for it. And writing is the same thing, and part of that is getting up every day and coming back to the page and having the courage to come back to the page even when you think you can't make that mile, even when you think you've hit a wall. In terms of being physically in shape, I think that's absolutely on point. The other thing is nutritionally. You know, as we began talking about health care, I mean, there are certain foods that feed your brain and certain foods that take you off. You know, McDonald's will make you dumb. You know what I mean? It doesn't feed your brain. It just doesn't. And so I think that that is something, because I realize when I'm not on my game and I'm not you know, eating well, but I can't think. I can't put a sentence together that makes sense. And I wind up, and if I'm on deadline, you know, as I got a story, as I make my living as a writer, I'll cobble together something else. And so I think you're so right, and that's a really important point, that everything goes into feeding the craft, including what you put in your body and who you allow around you. Right? What thoughts are going in your head? From somebody telling you you can't write, why would you write, why did you do that, you're stupid, you know what I mean? And all that is going to affect your process as well, so you have to have discipline about also who's in your life and who you allow close to you.